Very good morning, everybody. Today we have gathered. আবার আমরা তৃতীয়বারের জন্য এলাম। সবাইকে ওয়েলকাম জানাই। আমার আওয়াজ কি শোনা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ইয়েস স্যার।
আমরা থ্যাংক ইউ। আমরা তৃতীয়বারের জন্য এলাম আমাদের ইনভাইটেড লেকচার নিয়ে ডিপার্টমেন্ট অফ কমার্স অ্যান্ড ম্যানেজমেন্ট ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গল স্টেট ইউনিভার্সিটির পক্ষ থেকে। আমি একটু দেখে নিই আমাদের স্ট্রিমিংটা হচ্ছে কিনা। হ্যাঁ, হচ্ছে। ইউটিউব লিঙ্কটা যদি একটু সবাই শেয়ার করে দেন চ্যাট বক্সে, তাহলে অবশ্য বোধহয় শেয়ার করা হয়েছে এখানে। আমরা ধন্যবাদ জানাই আমাদের মধ্যে আজকে উপস্থিত অধ্যাপক গৌতম শর্মা, যিনি নহাটা যোগেন্দ্রনাথ স্মৃতি মহাবিদ্যালয়ের সহকারী অধ্যাপক, অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট প্রফেসর, এবং একই সঙ্গে আমাদের বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের গেস্ট টিচার হিসেবেও পড়াচ্ছেন 3 বছর ধরে। প্রথমেই এই ইনভাইটেড লেকচার সিরিজ করার জন্য যে মহতী উদ্যোগ, যারা বিশেষত এই প্যান্ডেমিক সিচুয়েশনে প্রাইভেট টিউশন পড়তে পারছেন না, বা তার কলেজ টিচার ছাড়া অন্য টিচারের পড়ানো থেকে বঞ্চিত হচ্ছেন, বা আর একটু ভালো রেজাল্ট করতে চান, তাদের জন্য এই উদ্যোগ। এই উদ্যোগের জন্য সাধুবাদ জানাই আমাদের বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের মাননীয় উপাচার্য অধ্যাপক মহুয়া দাস মহাশয়াকে, এবং ডিপার্টমেন্ট অফ কমার্স অ্যান্ড ম্যানেজমেন্ট যে তার যে বোর্ড অফ স্টাডিজ, তার যে অনারেবল মেম্বার, তাদেরও আমি চেয়ারপারসন হিসাবে ধন্যবাদ জানাই এই উদ্যোগ গ্রহণ করার জন্য। এবং অধ্যাপক গৌতম শর্মা, তাকেও আমরা ধন্যবাদ জানাই, নিজের থেকে এগিয়ে এসেছেন নন রেমুনারেটিভ এই এফোর্ট, ছাত্রছাত্রীদের সাহায্য করার জন্য। এবং অধ্যাপক গৌতম শর্মা সম্পর্কে যতটুকু আমরা জানি ততটুকু আপনাদের কাছে একটু বলি। গৌতম বাবু, আপনি আছেন? আপনি যদি একটু ভিডিওতে আসেন। গৌতম বাবু, গৌতম বাবু, আপনি কি শুনতে পাচ্ছেন? গৌতম বাবু, আপনি মিউট হয়ে আছেন, আপনি কি শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, yes sir, you are audible sir. Am I audible to you sir?
ইয়েস, আপনি যদি একটু ভিডিওতে আসেন। হ্যাঁ, এবারে আপনাকে দেখা যাচ্ছে। আমরা অধ্যাপক গৌতম শর্মা, আগেই বলেছি, নহাটা যোগেন্দ্রনাথ স্মৃতি মহাবিদ্যালয়ের সহকারী অধ্যাপক, এবং সঙ্গে আমাদের বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের বাণিজ্য এবং ব্যবস্থাপনা বিভাগে অর্থাৎ পোস্ট গ্রাজুয়েট বিভাগে অনেকদিন ধরেই পড়াচ্ছেন। এবং অধ্যাপক গৌতম শর্মা তিনি এর আগে না, এখনো পর্যন্ত পড়াচ্ছেন বোধহয় 2010 থেকে 2012 পর্যন্ত পড়িয়েছেন সুভাষ বোস ইনস্টিটিউট অফ হোটেল ম্যানেজমেন্ট, এবং এর আগে ভবানীপুর এডুকেশন সোসাইটি কলেজে পড়িয়েছেন। অনেক অনেক অভিজ্ঞতা সমৃদ্ধ মানুষ, এবং একই সঙ্গে তার এমকম এবং এমবিএ ডিগ্রি রয়েছে, এবং সঙ্গে তিনি নেট কোয়ালিফাইডও করেছেন। আর দুবার নেট কোয়ালিফাই করেছেন, তার সাবজেক্ট ছিল কমার্স। এবং তিনি এমবিএ ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল ম্যানেজমেন্টে করেছেন আন্নামালা ইউনিভার্সিটি থেকে, এবং এমকম অ্যাকাউন্টিং অ্যান্ড ফিনান্স করেছেন বিনোবা ভাবে ইউনিভার্সিটি। এবং তারপরে আবার এমকম করেছেন ব্যাংকিং অ্যান্ড ইন্স্যুরেন্স ম্যানেজমেন্টে ফ্রম আন্নামালা ইউনিভার্সিটি। আবার তিনি 2017 সালে এমকম করেছেন মার্কেটিং ম্যানেজমেন্টে ফ্রম আন্নামালা ইউনিভার্সিটি। অর্থাৎ তার 3টি এমকম ডিগ্রি রয়েছে। এছাড়া অনলাইনে যতগুলো সার্টিফিকেট কোর্স করা উচিত তার থেকে বেশি করেছেন, আমি জানি না কি করে করেছেন। 20টির মতো অনলাইন সার্টিফিকেশন কোর্স করেছেন ডিউরিং দ্য প্যান্ডেমিক, এই সময়টাকে কাজে লাগিয়ে। এবং 2টো অ্যাওয়ার্ডও পেয়েছেন, বেস্ট রিসার্চার অ্যাওয়ার্ড 2019 এবং বেস্ট ফ্যাকাল্টি অ্যাওয়ার্ড 2020, এই 2টি অ্যাওয়ার্ড পেয়েছেন। এবং রিসোর্স পার্সন হিসেবে তাকে ইনভাইট করা হয়েছিল স্কিল ডেভেলপমেন্ট অ্যান্ড এন্টারপ্রেনারশিপ প্রোগ্রামে অর্গানাইজ বাই কল্যাণী সেন্টার, এটাতে উনি অংশগ্রহণ করেছেন। এবং এছাড়া উনি ইন্ডিয়ান অ্যাকাউন্টিং অ্যাসোসিয়েশনের লাইভ মেম্বার, আর অল ইন্ডিয়া কাউন্সিল ফর টেকনিক্যাল স্কিল ডেভেলপমেন্ট, তারও উনি লাইভ মেম্বার, তার উনি মেম্বার। 15টির বেশি ন্যাশনাল এবং 5টি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল সেমিনার কনফারেন্সে পার্টিসিপেট করেছেন, এবং 15টি ওয়ার্কশপে পার্টিসিপেট করেছেন, বহু জায়গায় পেপার প্রেজেন্ট করেছেন, এবং তার একটা বিশাল বায়োডেটা রয়েছে, সেটা এখন আর পড়তে চাইছি না, কারণ অনেকটা সময় লাগবে। আর আর বিশেষ কিছু বলার নেই। তিনি ছাত্রদের জন্য ছাত্র সেবায় নিয়োজিত, ছাত্রদের সঙ্গে তার সম্পর্কও খুব ভালো, তার পড়ানো আমাদের ছাত্রদের খুব ভালো লাগে। তিনি আজকে যে বিষয়ে কথা বলবেন সেটি হচ্ছে একটি বিশেষ দিক, যেটি সম্পর্কে আমরা সবাই, আমার স্পেশালাইজেশন ফিনান্স, কিন্তু আমরা সচরাচর সেই সাবজেক্টটা সম্পর্কে কথা বলি না, হিউম্যান রিসোর্স ম্যানেজমেন্ট। এবং সেটাতে যে খুঁটিনাটি বিষয়, পরীক্ষার আগে বিশেষত যারা পরীক্ষায় বসবেন সেমিস্টার 2, 4, 6, তাদের জন্য বিশেষ কিছু বিষয় নিয়ে উনি উপস্থিত হয়েছেন। আজকে ওনার বক্তব্যের বিষয় হিউম্যান রিসোর্স ম্যানেজমেন্ট। আমি সময় নষ্ট না করে প্রফেসর গৌতম শর্মা তাকে তার ইনভাইটেড লেকচার শুরু করার জন্য অনুরোধ করছি, এবং একই সঙ্গে তাকে আমি স্ক্রিন শেয়ারও করার অনুমতি দিলাম। উনি ওনার প্রেজেন্টেশন যদি থাকে তাহলে শেয়ার করতে পারেন।
Yes, sir.
You can start in English or in Bengali, whichever you like.
Sir, am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Respected chairperson, it's a matter of great pride to share this virtual platform with all the dignitaries, intelligentias, and beloved students of different colleges and institutes. I express my deep gratitude beyond all measures to the West Bengal State University Barasat in general and Department of Commerce and Management in particular for such an exemplary initiative taken during this pandemic situation when the students' semester exams are knocking at their door. With humble submission and permission from the chairperson, I am here to present a small topic fully dedicated to the students on the subject human resource management. So, with your kind permission, as already said, that most of the participants in this virtual platform are college students. Within a year or two, most of the students you will be completing your graduation degree. Whenever I ask students, what's your aim in life? What you want to become? What is your dream in life? I'm really very much pleased to see the big aspirations of the students. Except few, some answers that, sir, I want to become.
স্যার আপনি মিউট হয়ে গেছেন, গৌতম স্যার।
Yeah. Yeah, is it all right, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. Very
So,
much.
yeah, should I start from the beginning or should I continue? Actually, I could not make out that from where I lost my voice.
Continue, sir. Continue, sir.
Continue.
Okay, okay, fine, sir.
All
Thank you.
please mute yourself and you please continue.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So, whenever I ask my students that within a year or two, you are going to complete your degrees, you are going to complete your graduation. So, what after next? Some students answers the questions and I feel gratified. Some say, sir, I want to get top position in government officials. Some are interested in getting jobs in multinational corporations and so on and so forth. Interestingly, I am pleased. But the question, one questions to all those students that just getting your school degree, higher secondary degree, or the college degree, is this enough to get your dream job? Is this enough to fulfill the dreams of your parents, which every child should do it? The answer is absolutely not. Because there is a gap, there is a bridge between you, your certificates, and your goal, your dream job. And that bridge is nothing but a tunnel of rejection. So, keeping this thing in mind, the tunnel of rejection, here the importance, the sound knowledge of the topic, the recruitment and selections becomes important. From the student's perspective, everybody should know, the participants, the incumbents should know that in an organization, whether in the government institutes or private organizations or multinationals, how the recruitment process goes on, how the selection process goes on, what are the things you have to keep in mind, what are the precautions you have to take, what are the do's and do nots you have to follow. And in today we are going to deal with all these aspects, and I'm absolutely sure, even more confident, that after going through or after having some brief discussion about some of the critical aspects of the selections, definitely it is going to benefit all of you a lot in the times to come. So, with this motivations, with this aim in mind, I am moving ahead. So, I want to have your attentions, please. So, before we start ahead, a student, the incumbents must have the concept of recruitment, what it is, and how the entire process starts, what the selection is. So, basically, in any organization, the recruitment or selection process starts or take place in a chronological order. It starts with the need of employees. The need of employees are determined by the personal department of an organization based on HRP. HRP is the human resource planning. So, this entire responsibility of the recruitment and selection is carried on by the personal department of an organization. Once the need of the employees are determined, then follows the next step, that is the process of recruitment. Once the process of recruitment ends, there follows the process of employee selection. So, we will take up the concept of recruitment in bit detail, what it is about. Recruitment. What is recruitment? It refers to the process of searching prospective employees and stimulating them, motivating them, encouraging them to apply for jobs in an organization, as it is on account of attracting more and more prospective candidates. An effort is made to encourage, to stimulate more and more candidates. The entire process can be said to be a positive process. Here, the personal department of the organizations comes out with an advertisement mentioning the number of vacancies, the nature of jobs, the pay scale, qualifications required, experience needed, additional skills, so on and so forth. So this is the process of recruitment, and I'm going to share your small advertisements of recruitment. The personnel department of the organization, as I said, is entrusted with the responsibility of recruitment, and the department may follow or may explore the different sources. The sources can be internal sources, it can be an external sources. So these two are the examples of external sources of recruitment. You can see from the image that Madras, it's an advertisement for the, it's a recruitment advertisement for assistant professor to be did by Madras Christian College. At the same time, there is another advertisements for the faculty requirement by JJ College of Engineering and Technology. So these type of advertisements we often come across in the websites or while going through the newspaper. So these are the part of recruitment. Once the recruitment is over, the process of selection begins. Now here we will look into some of the prominent definitions of recruitment given by management experts. Here it's said, selection is the process in which candidates for employment are divided into two classes. Very interestingly, I'm repeating, selection is the process in which candidates for employment are divided into two classes, those who are to be offered employment and those who are not. This definition has been given by Dale Yoder. Second definition, selecting manager is choosing from among the candidates the one who best meets the position requirements. Rich and Nodge. Finally, selection is the process of choosing individuals who have relevant qualifications to fill existing or projected job openings. Schnell and Volander. So, in the above three definitions, we can conclude that there is no place for the average candidate. You have to be the best. You have to be the best in all perspective. Let's see further some of the other highlights of the definitions of selection. Selection, picking the best candidate. That means the recruitment or the selection or the job is not meant for all. Choosing individuals with relevant qualifications. Next, selection is undertaking from a very low positions to a very high position. It means that for whichever job you apply, whether a lower order job or higher order job, you have to pass through funnel, this funnel of selection, this funnel of rejection. Next, it involves a series of steps. The entire selection process is carried out in a series of steps there which we will come to know very soon. Finally, under selections, the, can, the, the candidates are chosen that will boost up the company morale, add value to the corporate culture, and keep turnover low, employee turnover. Here, the efforts are made to reduce the number of applicants, and this is the tragedy over here. Previously, in recruitment, what we had learned that in recruitment, more and more candidates are encouraged, more and more candidates are motivated, they are stimulated to apply for the jobs through the advertisement. It was, and it is an open advertisement, anybody can apply against the job. It's a motivations to all, it's an opportunity given to all. Whereas in selection, the matter is not so. Here, only the best is given the opportunity, the best is given the final job offer, and as the rejections takes place at every stages or every steps of the selection process, the selection is termed as a negative process, and this is the tragedy over here. Next, we can see under the process of selections can be categorized into two parts: the qualification of the prospective candidate or applicant and the qualifications essential for the job. It simply means that you may have a certain qualifications with you, but those qualifications may not be relevant, may not be required, may not be needed by the organization, and here the comparison take place. That means the qualifications of the candidate is compared with the qualifications essential or needed by the organization, and this is the beginning of the entire selection process. Here, regarding the steps or the stages involved in selection process, in all organization, whether small or whether it's a big, it's the entire selection process is not the same. For a small organization, the selection process are brief, small, simple, whereas in large organization, in multinationals, the candidate has to pass through a series of steps. Those are extensive in nature, those are complex in nature, and in this presentation today, we are going to know what are those steps, what are those complex procedure that each incumbent may have to pass through once you apply for job, or for your dream job rather I should say, in any organizations. So you can see from the screen that the selection starts with the preliminary screening, selection test, employment interviews, references and background checks, selection decision, medical examination, job offer, and finally the contract of employment. So these are the some of the steps that we are going to discuss one by one. Let's start with the first step, that is the preliminary screening. What happens in the preliminary scheme? What are the activities? So preliminary screening, under this step, the applications, the large number of applications received from the candidate during recruitment are scrutinized. They are screened up. Here, the organizations looks various aspects like the like the organization would like to know whether the candidates fulfill all the essential qualifications for the job, on what conditions a person's services will be available to the organization. Sometimes it may happen that a candidate may put certain conditions before the organization which may or may not be acceptable by the organization. The applicant may put forth the conditions regarding salary acceptable, durations, promotions, etc. Those candidates whose conditions are not acceptable by the organization are not called for the preliminary interview, and a regret letter is sent to them citing the reason. On the other hand, by not calling the candidates for the preliminary interview, the organization prevents lot of time and financial resources both for the organization and the candidates. Preliminary interview can be further subdivided into two categories, that is preliminary screening, preliminary interview, and the blank application form. What happens in preliminary interview? Here the organizations makes an effort to ensure whether the applicant is physically fit or not. That means your physical fitness for any job is required, is a necessary condition. Secondly, an effort is made to verify the applicant's behavior, what kind of behavior you are possessing. The questions may be asked related to your education, your experience, your taste, age, etc. If you qualify, if the organization is satisfied with the candidate, then the next step goes on, and there he is handed over one blank application form. What is this blank application form? It is nothing but a printed form by the organization given to the candidate, where the where the effort is made to extract maximum possible information about the prospective candidates. You may ask, sir, is the blank applications uniform everywhere, or is the blank application same for all the jobs? Absolutely not. For different posts, there are different blank application form. Why? Because for different posts, different qualifications are required. Now, what are the informations about the candidate a company or an organization or an institution is interested to know? So let's have a look. The informations may be related to qualifications like academic qualifications, technical qualifications, experience, knowledge of languages, training received, subject of specialization. Then we have personal information. Here, the name of the applicant, father's name, age, marital status, gender, family positions, your personal taste, minimum acceptable salary in terms of salary and perks. Then we have references. Under the references, the organization may be interested to know the candidate's character, their social relations, and finally the other informations. Other informations may include your past and present achievement, on the job motivation, sense of defining self, your strength and weaknesses, your depth of knowledge, leadership ability, analytical thinking, knowledge about the company, sales or marketing activity, capacity to work in stress, and your self esteem. So, these are some of the hidden informations about the candidate an employer, an organization is interested to dig out. Once the employer, the organization is satisfied with the candidate, then he is processed to the next step, and that's a very rigorous in nature, very like very screening in nature. It's a very rejective in nature, and that's nothing but the selection test. And here, the maximum, utmost care needs to be taken care of by the candidate. Under he has to go various kinds of selection test depending on the nature or profile of the job. Under selection test, the candidate's nature, his ability and skills are verified. Selection test helps to reduce the selection cost by reducing the large number of applicants to a manageable limits. And the selection test, as I have already said, it depends on the nature or the profile of the job, as manual, whether it's a manual in nature, whether it's clerical in nature, or whether it's managerial in nature. Depending on the job profile, the nature of the job, you have to pass through one or many selection tests. So let's have some of the selection tests. Here, some of the extensively selection tests used in an organizations are proficiency test. Proficiency test can be categorized under two parts, that is specialization test and dexterity test. What is specialization test? Specialization test, it's alternatively known as special trade test. And under this concept or under this test, a candidate has to pass through two steps, that is the technical knowledge or theoretical knowledge test. It simply means that the company would like to know that whether you are having the sound theoretical knowledge of your subject or not. That's the theoretical knowledge test. After getting confirmation, after getting satisfaction about the theoretical knowledge, the company or the organization may be interested to know the practical knowledge test. As for example, in case of a computer operator, the company may ask some theoretical concepts, theoretical questions related with the computer. And after that, the employer may ask you to operate the computer, and that's the practical knowledge test. After getting qualified, there we have dexterity test. What is dexterity test? Yes, dexterity test measures or evaluates the accuracy of your hands and fingers. As for example, to be more specific, knowing the computer or running the computer or operating the computer by the candidate is one thing, but how efficiently, how speedily you are operating the computer, that's the another thing. So the employer is much more interested in how fast you can operate the computer, how efficiently you can operate the computer, how accurately you can operate the computer, and there lies your superiority. There, and that's put the candidate with a competitive edge. So we have the dexterity test. The second category of test is psychological test. Again, as you can see from the psychological test can be categorized under four subcategories. That is intelligence test, aptitude test, interest test, and finally the personality test. What is interest test? So interest test, under this test, the candidate's reception power, the candidate's memory power, the candidate's comprehension power, reasoning capacity of the candidates are judged through IQ test, intelligence quotient. A simple example, I want to be here a bilingual for the benefit of the students. A very simple example I want to put uh, for in case of intelligent test to make you more understandable. Uh, Sir, may I use Bengali over here? Okay. কোনো একটা সময়ে 10 তলা উপরে একটা ইন্টারভিউ হচ্ছিল। ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ড যার ওখানে ইন্টারভিউ নিচ্ছিল, তাদের মধ্যে প্রচুর ক্যান্ডিডেটরা তারা ইন্টারভিউ দিচ্ছিল। যখন ইন্টারভিউ শেষ হয়ে গেল, তারপরে ফাইনালি তাদেরকে কথা বলা হলো, তাদেরকে একটা কন্ডিশন দেওয়া হলো কি যদি আপনি ওই রুমের মধ্যে একটা বড় একটা জানলা ছিল, উইন্ডো ওয়াজ দেয়ার, একটা জানলা ছিল। ক্যান্ডিডেটকে বলা হলো কি যদি আপনি এই জানলা থেকে যদি ঝাঁপ দেবেন, যদি দিতে পারেন, তাহলে এই চাকরিটা আপনাকে কনফার্ম আমি দিয়ে দেব। যখন এই কন্ডিশনটা তাদেরকে প্রসপেক্টিভ ক্যান্ডিডেট কাছে রাখা হলো, প্রত্যেকটা ক্যান্ডিডেট রিফিউজ করলো এই অফারটা। তারা বলল, ইন্টারভিউকে জানালো কি স্যার, যদি আমি এই 10 তলা উপরে থেকে জানলা থেকে যদি ঝাঁপ দিই, তাহলে তো আমি মারাই যাব। আমি হয়তো আমার মৃত্যু হবে, আমার হাত পা পুরোটাই নষ্ট হয়ে যাবে। তাহলে এমন চাকরি আমার দরকার নেই। আমার জীবনটাই সবথেকে মূল্যবান, আমার তার থেকে চাকরিটা আমার দরকার নেই। বাট ইন্টারেস্টিং, দ্য কোয়েশ্চেন ইজ, তাহলে এখানে একটা ভাবার চিন্তা একটা বিষয় আছে কি যে ভদ্রলোক, যে ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ড এই ধরনের একটা কন্ডিশন রাখলো স্টুডেন্ট ক্যান্ডিডেটদের সামনে কি যদি আপনি 10 তলা জানলা থেকে যদি ধাপ দেন, তাহলে আপনার এটা চাকরি হবে। আপনাদের কি মনে হচ্ছে কি ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ড তারা কি পাগল ছিল? তারা কি আহ, তারা কি ডিসব্যালেন্সড পার্সন ছিল? মোটেও না। এই প্রশ্নের মধ্যে যদি দেখা যায়, যদি অবজার্ভ করা যায়, যদি রিড বিটুইন দ্য লাইন্স যদি করা যায়, তাহলে এখানেই অ্যান্সারটা পাওয়া যাবে। যখন লাস্ট ক্যান্ডিডেটকে সেম প্রশ্ন এইভাবেই অনেক ক্যান্ডিডেটকে প্রশ্ন করলো, প্রত্যেকটা ক্যান্ডিডেট রিফিউজ করলো। লাস্ট ক্যান্ডিডেটকে যখন সেম প্রশ্ন করা হলো, সে রাজি হলো। দ্য ক্যান্ডিডেট এগ্রি টু ডু সো, রাজি হলো কি স্যার আমি জানলা থেকে ঝাঁপ দেব, আমার এই চাকরিটা খুবই প্রয়োজন। অ্যান্ড এভরিবডি ওয়াজ অ্যাস্টনিশড। তখন বলল ঠিক আছে, আপনি জানলা থেকে ঝাঁপ দিতে পারেন। এবার সেই ক্যান্ডিডেটটা জানলাতে উঠলো, বা ঝাঁপটা বাইরে দিল না, সে রুমের মধ্যে দিল। অ্যান্ড হিয়ার লাইজ ইয়োর ইন্টেলিজেন্স। দেখো, যদি দেখা যায় কি ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ড, যারা ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ড, তাদেরকে বলা হয়েছে, ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ড জানালো কি আপনাকে জানলা থেকে ঝাঁপ দিতে হবে, বাট কোনোভাবে এটা কি বলা হয়েছে কি আপনাকে জানলা বাইরে ঝাঁপ দিতে হবে? ক্যান্ডিডেট কি করলো, জানলা, সে ঝাঁপটা তো বাড়ির মধ্যেও, রুমের মধ্যেও তো দেওয়া যেতে পারে। And the person got selected. And so this is your intelligence test. And in this way, sometimes the interview board or the interviewer may know your intelligence, your level of intelligence. Let's proceed further.
ও, আচ্ছা, বুঝেছি।
Next, we have aptitude test. Aptitude test means how fast you can learn a job. If certain training is given to you, how quickly you can learn a job. Because it might happen that some candidates are fast learner, some are slow learner. So in case of slow learner, the company or the organization has to invest or has to spend lot of resources. So fast learner are always preferred by the employer, by the organization, and here lies your aptitude test. There are various methods of aptitude test like CAT, clerical aptitude test, CAT, computer aptitude test, PAT, pilot aptitude test, matrix, management trial exercise. So these are some of the aptitude tests sometimes conducted by the organizations. Next, we have interest test. The employer may be interested to know what is your interest level, what is your curiosity level, what is your job satisfaction, what kind of job does really satisfy you, because that is very important. If you are not satisfied with your job, it is confirmed that you are not going to deliver you the best. So the on job satisfactions of the employee is very much needed. And finally, we have the personality test. What is personality test and why it is so important? So personality test here, the employer, the organization wants to know the candidates, the ability to interact with others, ability to influence other, ability to motivate others, ability to remove or tackle with the obstacles that would come to your job, and many more. And we have one test for personality, that is thematic perception test. So to conclude about the entire selection test, we can see one summary here, the intelligence test. So what happens in intelligence test? Intelligent test eliminates candidate who are not intelligent enough for the job. Aptitude test excludes those candidates who are most unsuitable for the particular job. Personality or projective test, it exposes those candidates who suffers from mental disturbance. So, as a prospective employee, as a prospective candidate, as an incumbent, you have to be aware, you have to take the necessary precautions, you have to work upon your lacunas, your shortcomings, and you need to go through any of these tests: intelligence test, aptitude test, and personality or projective test. Now, the third step is employment interview. We have heard lot about interviews so many times. So we will see here the employment interview. Employment interview is basically divided into two parts: the preliminary interview and final interview. What happens in the preliminary interview? Your physical appearance is judged, your mental maturity, presence of mind, your conduct and temperaments, your memory power, your academic qualifications are verified. After clearing your preliminary interview, you have to go through the final interview, and the final interview is conducted at the two stages: one by the personal manager of the organization, and finally by the departmental heads. So you need to go through the interviews in series. According to a survey conducted by the Graduate Land, it has been found that from the diagram you can observe that 71% of the employer or the manager have given the top priority to the incumbents or prospective personality. That you can see 71%, that is the personality of the candidate, has been given the topmost priority in the entire hiring process, selection process. So it's advisable to all the incumbent to work upon your personality, to develop your personality. Finally, you have cognitive skills, 60%. Cognitive skill includes your sustained attention ability, selective attention ability, divided attention ability, long term memory, logic and reasoning capability, processing and speed capability. And after you have the self confidence 49%, appearance 37%, improvisational skills 25%, and finally the humor 15%. So in the entire diagram you can observe, you can conclude that personality of the candidate occupies the topmost position. So all of us or the incumbents basically need to focus, to concentrate on the overall, the holistic development of yourself, holistic personality development. After this, we go to the reference and background checks. The employer, the organization may not be satisfied about the proclamation that you make, the claims that you make. You may speak lot about yourself. You may speak as a candidate. You may speak a lot of good things about yourself. But the employer may suspect you sometimes, likes to verify your candidature. And how the organization will verify your candidature? Through your reference and background checks. The employer, the organization may contact your friends, they may contact your past and present employer and know about your past, and the queries may be related with your character, what kind of person you are, and your social relations. And the company would like to judge whether you are going to adjust with the new organizational culture or not. But as a prospective candidate, keep in mind that not to disclose, not to give fake references, because fake references are illegal and may put you in trouble, legal trouble sometimes. After the confirmation, after the satisfactory reply, after the soundness of your reference and background checks, the selection, the final selection decisions takes place, and the entire things goes on, clearing of all the selection tests, employment interviews, reference checks, opinion of the departmental heads are taken, and finally the candidates are selected. But the show does not stop here, and there is another is medical test. So what is the objective of the medical test? Why do we need to go the medical test, or what are the medical tests that an incumbent has to pass through? So medical examination, medical tests are conducted for various reasons. From the organization's perspective, you can see, to assess the physical fitness for the job concerned, whether the candidate are physically fit for the job or not, to protect the business organization and the co-workers from infectious diseases. It might happen that a prospective candidate is carrying some infectious diseases with him or her, and that may damage the entire system, or the entire the structure of the organization. Next, to check the excessive expenditure on employees' medical treatment. And finally, to ascertain the suitability of the employee before transfer with different work conditions. It might happen that in at present or in a particular place there is one weather condition, but in some other place the weather condition is different. So the employer would like to know that if you are transferred from one region to another region where there is difference in the weather condition, on the climate conditions, are you going to sustain or not? Basically, we can see the army personnel. These people, the army men, they are being transferred frequently throughout the country, from one state to another state, from one region to another region, and they have to come across different varieties of different kinds of weather conditions, and that sustenance test has to be verified. And these are the some objectives of medical examinations. Examples like, for firefighting careers, the candidate has to go for the heart test, lungs test, eyes test, ears test, and the limbs test. Whereas for the law enforcement career, those who wants to build your career in the law or in the law enforcement department, the incumbents need to go or undergo psychological and emotional medical test. So these are some of the tests, and in general we can discuss, like in general we have BMI test, body mass index test, CV examination, cardiovascular test, respiratory systems, vision testing, audiometry testing, the capacity to hear sound properly, on-site drug testing, electrocardiogram testing, ECG testing, and alcohol testing. So you may not have to go through all the tests, but definitely some or other you have to go through, you have to qualify these tests. And finally, after the qualification of the test, the employer comes you with the job offer. So again, you can see the job offer is further divided into two parts. One, the candidates are given appointment letter with specified date mentioned. In the appointment letter, a date is mentioned by which the candidates are asked to join. And then we have the contract of employment. What is contract of employment? The contract of employment is a document which is prepared, which is drafted by the company or the organization and handed over to the candidate at the time when he or she joins any organization. And the contract of employment consists certain elements, certain components, as you can see. Job title. What is your job title? Your authorities, your responsibilities, rate of remunerations, date of regular service, your salary allowances and perks, your working hours, your leave rule conditions, grievance procedures, disciplinary procedures, and finally, the terminal procedures under what conditions the employer may terminate your services, what under what situation. So everything is mentioned under the contract of employment. And after the acceptance of the job offer by the candidate becomes the regular employee of the organization, or the incumbent gets the incumbent finally gets his dream job. So I conclude with it as the selecting the right candidate is perhaps the most important goal of the personal department. A robust selection process can enhance the experience of the prospective candidate. Moreover, it can help the best workforce and thereby the sustenance and growth of the business organizations. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Sir, my presentation is over, sir, now.
Uh, Thank you very much, Professor Sharma. But I don't think that I have many role to play
Yes, sir.
because initially my name was not mentioned at all. Only the Department of Commerce and Management's name was mentioned. So I myself is a person, not the department. But in spite of that, on behalf of Department of Commerce and Management,
Yeah.
I express our heartfelt regards and gratitude to Professor Sharma for very lively explaining everything relating to selection and selection process in the HR management. And now, if there is any question from the participant, you can ask. And feedback link and certification link is already given in the chat box by Professor Vidhan. In spite of that, do you have any comments? Dear participants, dear teachers, students, anybody can make a comment. Dear Professor Vidhan or Professor Vishnu, or anybody can make a comment, Professor Kollol, or any student, if you have any query, you can ask.
Sir, myself Vishnu Pada Das from East Calcutta Girls College, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
yes, please.
Sir, very nice and excellent presentation, sir. It is very much helpful to student. I think so. Second of all, very much thankful to Dr. Dhar sir to arrange this such type of arrangements. This is only possible by Dr. Dhar sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Sir.
Professor Das. This is worth mentioning that only me proposed this kind of initiative in the undergraduate board of studies, and somebody was not intending, but in spite of all odds, we made it happening. And definitely it's my effort. So thank you for mentioning. And any other comments or queries from anybody else?
Very good morning, sir. May I please, sir?
Please.
Yes, I am Kollol Shaha, Assistant Professor in Commerce, Department of Commerce, Barakpur Rashtrakushanath College. And primarily, I would like to thank my mentor and the head of the Department of Commerce and Management, Dr. Pranamdhar sir, for this wonderful initiative. It is his brainchild actually to carry out this series of lectures for the people who are actually not able to understand classes. He has actually taken all teachers under the West Bengal State University to all the colleges. So that is the benefit, and students all over can get the benefit of these classes. So this is a noble task you are doing, sir. We are indeed thankful. And to Gautam Sharma, I would say, sir, you have taken up a wonderful topic, and this topic is important from the examination viewpoint as well. So very well explained. Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Pranamdhar sir and Gautam Sharma sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Any other query or comments from anybody?
Very good morning, sir. This is Vidhan, sir.
Yes,
So
please.
first of all, I would
Professor
like
Vidhan. Yes,
yes,
please.
sir, yes. Sir. So I would like to thank you for this great initiative taken by you, and it's always been a surprise for our academician that you come up with your different type of ideas. And thanks to Gautam Sharma sir for deliberately explain this kind of topics, this kind of theory papers. Most of the teachers have been surpassed throughout this kind of topics. I think students are very much eagerly notice that. I wish if there is any question from our student side, it could be more beneficial and effective, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor Vidhan. And if there is any question from the students, lots of students are here also. Like
Sir,
Snigdha, Ria, anybody can ask question. Professor Sharma, please.
yeah. Sir, I on this virtual platform, I earnestly apologize for not acknowledging you, which was not never intentional. I apologize for this one, sir, and I'm really thankful. Really, I feel that I am blessed that you have given me such an opportunity to deliver my lecture on this platform. I'm really blessed.
No, actually, this is the initiative approved by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who is very student friendly, Professor Mohammed Das. She is also the Honorable President of West Bengal Council of Higher Secondary Council. So she is always with the students. She thinks for the students, and whenever any proposal positive for the academic and for the good of the students, she always accepts, not only accepts, she will accept this proposal. So all credit goes to Professor Mohammed Das ma'am, Honorable Vice Chancellor, WBSU. And we can say, although this Zoom connection is mine personal, but apart from that, every approval, every thing is approved by Honorable Vice Chancellor. But definitely it's true that this thing was never been thought before. And we thought that function of BOS is to prepare questions, paper setting, moderation, and definitely there is a power game that we should get more and more paper set, and we should get more and more papers moderated. But really the role of Board of Studies is to not only guide the teachers regarding the CSR, that is course, syllabus and regulation, but along with definitely the students should also be guided regarding the examination pattern, regarding the question framed, etc., regarding the mode you have taught. So this is also a platform. I have thought that this is a platform for resource sharing. That is, due to the pandemic, we can take advantage of this pandemic. That is, students of one college can take advantage of teaching of another college teacher. So this thought was materialized with the kind approval of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, and thanks to you also, Professor Gautam Sharma, Professor Vishnupada Das, and also others, Professor Kollol Saha, who are making every initiative to make it implemented through your very good teaching. And students should also know that these are our resources. You are our resources, and these resources are there in West Bengal State University also. In other universities, we have seen this initiative is taken. Professor Shayan Basu is there, who is teaching in Bhavanipur Education Society College, and also our university scholar, he can feel easily that in universities like Calcutta University, very old one, this initiative is possible. But in West Bengal State University, very nascent stage of development, only 9 or 10 years have passed. So here also we can implement these type of things. So this was only a thought which was implemented by the Honorable Vice Chancellor, and with your cooperation, this has become very much successful, I think. And this YouTube link I have shared to so many platforms and our teachers also, so that the students can get the repetitive performance by listening to these lectures, and they can have revision. Revision is very much important in every subject. Revision is very much important, and from that point of view, your lecture and your presentation, audio visual revision is very much important. So that has also helped us a lot. So from that point of view also, thank you very much, Gautam.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sharma,
Yeah, sir, your
for
valuable
kind input.
suggestions will always be taken care of, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. And Professor Shayan Basu is here. I'd request him to
Yes,
say
sir.
something.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for such an innovative approach you had given to us. No matter whatever are the chapters, but the main thing which the students are getting from here, that the approach of all the teachers, the techniques of all the teachers, which is very important in our case. And to Professor Sharma, I have a small question,
Yeah.
sir. In today's timing, there is a new technique of accounting or new type of accounting which we may get in future, that is known as human resource accounting.
Yeah.
So do you think, sir, what's your take on it? That is there any relation between this human resource management and human resource accounting? How we can create a relation between these?
So human resource accounting is a growing concept. It's a modern concept. Now the organizations are making an effort, due effort to the use of to convert the resources, the human resources, into the accounting term in the monetary terms. Like you can see, you have to calculate that selection cost, as I said. Then you have to express the monetary value of the selection cost, or the processing cost, or the recruitment cost. There the accounting lie there, the application, there is always the scope of the accounting over here.
Okay.
Yeah. What, like employee, that is the lifetime value of the employee. So you have to express, you have to apply the concept of accounting, that to what extent, or to how many, in what times, or up to what time you can exploit, or you can explore the prospective candidate. It generally, what happens, there is a high attrition rate nowadays, and this is a big challenge that every organization is facing. So definitely the company would like to know what in the monetary terms, because and that helps to take the accurate decisions.
Thank you so much, sir, for this lucid approach for the students as well as for me. I am not a student, but
Yeah.
thanks for helping me
Yeah.
with this answer. And thanks for your approach, what you had given to the students. It's a very lucid approach which you had given. And last but not the least, Dr. Pranam Dhor, sir, our mentor, our supervisor. Thanks to him for such an innovative approach. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this chance.
Thank you so much, Professor Vasu. But my humble question to Professor Sharma.
Yes, sir.
There is a big change and challenge all over the world due to this pandemic in the human resource management, specifically in the selection and training procedure.
Yeah.
And whatever you have taught in today's class, we have seen there is a big change on that, because interview is taken virtually.
Yeah, right.
And online interviews are also going on in even in government bodies. We see that in School Service Commission also the interview is going to be held in virtual mode.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
it is very difficult, we all know, to virtually judge one person from one day's virtual interview. So from that point of view, don't you think that there should be a bias, or there should be a mess in the selection procedure? Although we have to maintain the COVID protocol, but still physical interview and virtual interview have a heaven and hell difference. So don't you think that the recruiters will face the problem of rightly selecting a person properly with only the virtual interviews? So what will be your answer?
So the thing is that, yes, I agree with you. in this given pandemic situations, a lot of things has been changed, and the virtual interview is at its evolving stage. Still, lot of things needs to be done. As of now, there some lacunas are still it's present in the online interview. It's not possible to judge uh, the candidate from all
Just give
perspectives.
me just stopping you for 1 minute.
Yeah, yeah,
Just giving you my example. If I
yeah.
am going for the interview,
Yes,
I am
yes,
a person having a very good belly. Not I am a not very slim person.
yeah,
But as the virtual interview shows, only my face
yeah,
and the upper portion of my body, it does not show my belly, and it seems that I'm a very physically fit person and will be able to take hard load of hard work.
yeah,
But when physically I am seen in the interview, the recruiters may feel that this person is having obesity, not able to move, so he cannot be given the job. So this is the confusion created in the
yeah,
virtual interview. Only one example given. So what
yeah.
will be your answer?
Sir, in this case, I would go for the BMI test, that is the body mass index. The candidate might be asked about his weight, the height, and accordingly, the some calculations can be worked out. That and if you are exceeding that the standard, the parameter, it can be concluded that yes, the prospective candidate, whether it's eligible or cannot or not. So. Still some uh, the the process needs to be done, sir. What I feel.
Very intelligent answer you have given. Thank you. And definitely, this is the problem. Suppose what is the average height of a person, that can be easily measured and written in the application form. But actually, what is the work attitude? That cannot be actually measured in virtual interviews. So that is the biggest problem. So some new uh, columns in the application forms should be there due to this new normal situation. And if it continues for many years or even 2 3 years more, the
Yeah,
recruitment process will be in vain if we don't adopt these measures as recruiters. So this is the evolution in the recruitment and selection technique in human resource management, and the whole world is researching on that. Thank you, Professor Sharma, for rightly
yeah.
answering the
Sir,
question.
one information I would like to give to share with the other students is basically for the students only. I don't think whether it's related with the topic or not, but I think that it is going to be highly useful for the students who are going to sit for the coming semester exams. What happens in while I were appearing for one of the online tests, like generally what we do when we appear for the online test, we may sometimes use the malpractices. What we do, we shift over to the other website, in a parallel website, find search out in the Google, and then come out with the answers. Sometimes we do so, but there is a university, the university has placed in condition, and the condition is automatic. It's a software built up. It says that okay, while writing the exams, if for any reason, if you switch over to the some other website in the same computer system, that your entire the examination process will be get locked. That means you cannot re-enter into your examination process, and you have to leave your examination. So in this way, the universities are coming out with innovative technique to stop the malpractices. So somewhat, as I have already said or repeated, that in coming times, the new innovations will take place to make the online interview more accurate, more genuine, and more authenticate, sir.
Definitely, I 100% agree with you, and I am adding something
Yes, sir.
that in some tests like PhD entrance tests, even somebody enters in your room, then
Okay.
also you are warned for the first time, and for the second time you are moved out of the examination. This kind of artificial intelligence built software are there
Yeah,
to
yes, sir.
check
Yes, sir.
your authenticity and sincerity in the examinations, and they are researched every day, and new
Yeah,
techniques are coming out. So
yeah,
thank you for your nice questions. And participants, you fill the link and submit. And Professor Sharma, I have already mailed you your resource person certificate.
yes.
And
Thank you
with
very much.
this, if you do not have any question, dear participants, we'll wrap up for the day. We'll call it a day. and I am waiting for your answers. Do you have any more question or query? Any student?
No, sir. Physically, sir, I don't have any questions, sir. Actually, the whatever topic our Gautam sir was explaining, I've already understood. I've like the topic is almost all clear to me, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And PD sir, thank you so much, sir, for like providing us this situation where we can have in virtual mode we are getting some additional knowledge with the knowledge which we're having already, but we need some clarifications. And Gautam sir, thank you so much, sir, that we have explained this topic to
Most
me
welcome.
actually like in a very lucid manner. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you so
Thank
much,
you
sir.
so much, Rajiv. Rajiv is a topper of our MCOM in the first semester. Is a very good student, and Rajiv has listened carefully. And this is the feedback from the students, real feedback. So with this feedback from Rajiv Roy, we are calling it a day. We are wrapping it up, and please maintain government protocol. Please try to stay preferably at home and do your duties, and wish you best of luck for your examinations also, dear students. And with this, I am again thanking Professor Gautam Sharma for his nice lecture, and also our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Mohammed Das, for initiating this type of invited lectures for the needy student. And with this,
I am obliged.
yes, with this, I am calling it a